Hey, welcome to World Entertainment. And Madam Web looks set to be an absolute disaster financially. Doesn't matter what the fans are going to say, doesn't matter what the critics are going to say. By the looks of things, and judging by what's being predicted, this movie is going to be a financial disaster. And the director hasn't helped things, because he has confirmed that the Spider-Man spin-off is actually a full-on standalone movie. How? Well, we'll get into that. But the movie currently is now projected to open the low end of 25 million, the high end 35 million. So they're predicting it's going to open between 25 to 35 million over its 3-day release. Not even the opening weekend or the opening day. That is its opening weekend predictions. And this comes hot on the heels after Madam Web director puts final nail in film's box office coffin, confirms Spider-Man spin-off takes place in a standalone world. Why does a Spider-Man spin-off happen in a standalone world, especially when we see Uncle Ben and possibly, well, actually it's not a possibly, I do believe she is playing Aunt May is in there, obviously younger versions. Well, it all came down to the fact that they absolutely screwed up the timeline. More specifically, they originally wrote this movie with the idea that Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man in this universe, because this movie is set in the 90s, until they filmed it and then they brought it to the studio, and the studio went, who made this cock up? And when they were, what are you talking about? They went, Andrew Garfield would be too old for this to be set in the 90s. It doesn't make sense. His age doesn't line up. That's when they realized they were actually meant to have it as Tom Holland's Spider-Man, not Andrew Garfield's. They completely screwed up the dates. So they had to go back and remove every reference to Spider-Man from the movie. So when we watched the first trailer and we saw what appears to be Spider-Man's hand, there's a good possibility that will be gone. The possibility will also be there of that childbirth scene that we saw in the ad. That may be gone. And it even says here, like, it says Madam Web originally established Andrew Garfield as Sony Universe's current Spider-Man, underwent massive reshoots after a switch to Tom Holland effed things up the film's timeline. Because they were like, yeah, it's Andrew Garfield, and then they went, set in the 90s, that doesn't work. His age would be completely out of whack. And they went, oh boy. They went, don't you mean Tom Holland? And they went, oh no. So it had to reshoot half the movie and remove all the Spider-Man references. But now that they're talking about the movies projected to do nothing more than between 25 and 35 million opening weekend, that's worse. To put it in context, that is worse than Morbius. And the trailers certainly aren't helping it. The trailers are god-awful. The acting in the trailers are god-awful. The actors seem to be kind of throwing a bit of shade at the movie already. This thing, by the way, to put it fully in context, the movie's budget is reported between 80 and 85 million. However, insiders have come out to report, oh yeah, it is 85 million. Except they spent more than that on the promotion material. They've spent over 100 million apparently on the promotion. Meaning this movie needs to crack somewhere between 250 to possibly 300 million dollars to break even. I don't even think this movie is gonna crack 220. I think this, in its entire global run, I have a feeling that this movie could do as bad as $216 million total. And then we'll just see it getting fast tracked to streaming. Don't forget, the same people who worked on Morbius worked on this. Keep that in mind. The people who wrote and worked on Morbius made this movie. And then you watch that trailer and you just see the line delivery and everything. You're just like, sweet Jesus, they actually thought this was a good idea. Plus, you're trying to push a character that the majority of people, even comic book readers, don't particularly know the character all that well. But there you go. They had to remove Spider-Man references because they absolutely buggered the timeline. Well done, Sony. You idiots. They're looking to make as little as 25 million opening weekend. This movie is destined to be an absolute bomb at the box office. Poor souls. Anyway, with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.